Hi, I'm Heidi Bragg, and welcome to WEFTEC Live. For this edition, we have Aimeé Killeen, who is WEF's incoming president-elect. And Aimeé is, well, her resume is long and impressive. She is the Chief Operations for Providence Engineering and Environmental Group in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She leads, okay, I'm going to get all these, the air, water, waste, groundwater, environmental engineering, and remediation teams, right?
Correct.
As their company leader. She's also responsible for, and I quote, an awesome team of employee owners. She's an active member of the Louisiana Water Environment Association, and she's been working in the water industry for more than 25 years now, right?
Correct.
Including 10 of those as a state regulator. She's also a 1997 grad of LSU. Go Tigers.
Woo!
Aimeé, thanks for joining us. I know because our schedules have been crazy trying to get you here. We're so glad you could come and join us.
Thank you.
So we talked last week about WEF's strategic plan, and we talked about the goals, and you can tell me if I get any of them wrong. So the first one is to attract and develop a diverse and passionate water workforce.
Correct.
To cultivate a purpose-driven community to sustainably solve water challenges for all, and to lead the transformation to the circular water economy. So we talked about and prepped for this interview, and I said, what do you want to say about the strategic plan? And Aimeé said, I think it's really important to talk about the values that underpin those goals.
Right.
So what do you want to tell us about those values?
So when the board developed the strategic plan, we started 2 years ago and finished at this time, right just before WEFTEC last year. The very first thing we did was kind of set ourselves some ground rules, some values ourselves in developing the strategic plan of where we wanted to stay in the lines. And throughout the development of the plan and those goals Heidi just mentioned, they kind of stood out and stayed with us throughout. And those four goals are definitely a change from typical water sector values. We want to be bold, really, really bold. We know we cannot continue as an organization without being really, really bold. And that's hard for us. That is definitely a water sector
stepping out of our
stretch.
comfort zone, right?
100% stepping out of our comfort zone. You know, typically in this environment, we're stewards of other people's money, be it their ratepayers, a customer, a consumer, and so we're typically pretty hesitant to try something new, to fail forward. So it's a value change that's going to take a couple years and maybe a generation. So it's not going to happen right away, but we know we wanted to write that down on paper, definitely being bold and innovative, and we're seeing it. The Innovation Pavilion, I was just over there, so cool, lots of cool stuff. The Drone Pavilion, those are the innovative things that we're seeing and we're needing to continue to take the water sector down the road. One of our other goals was DEI at the center of everything we do, and that's just so important. The opening general session this morning was just amazing and got to share a lot of those water stories, those diverse water stories. Everybody has a water story, be it your childhood memories growing up, on a body of water or, a flood in a basement. I'm from South Louisiana. Flood and storms are just part of our lives, and how we grew up and who we are today is impacted by every hurricane that has hit us and the memories I have from that. So we all have a diverse story, and it was really good to hear people being shaped and what they chose to do and bringing those voices and those diverse backgrounds to the water sector. Some of the other things we're looking at from a DE&I perspective is also just, again, DE&I in everything we do. When we write policies, when we have the Stockholm Junior Water Prize, we talked about the clothes we wear the other day, and making sure people are just comfortable. It really doesn't matter what you have on. If you want to wear jeans or shorts, go for it, right? So making sure we let people be who they are. So DE&I in every single thing we do. And I'm going to hit the last one is the biggest one for me is customer at the center. So I'm going to talk about collaborating right now for impact. So as an organization, we've always partnered with other organizations, but if we want to solve workforce challenges and other challenges that this sector faces, we're not going to do that with our traditional water partnerships. We're all facing workforce challenges. we need to step out of our comfort zone and partner with people. Let's partner with SHRM, the human resources. Let's partner with people who do that workforce, solve those workforce challenges for a living. We have to, every time I look online, there's a new water association or grassroots group popping up, and they're probably rocking their little niche of the water space. Let's partner with them. We're all here to make the world a better water place, so let's do it collectively, and we'll absolutely have more impact. So the big one, our fourth value, is putting the customer at the center of everything we do. And I think this is difficult. We heard a lot about this morning, right? It's all about community and asking. And I had taken some notes the other day, not for our conversation, but for a lot of other conversations. And we really struggle a lot of times, be it a collection system project, working with an association, doing volunteer work, producing a technical publication. We are hesitant to stop and say, why are we doing this? And who are we doing it for? Am I writing this technical publication that's going to sell 5 copies or 5,000 copies? Let's answer those questions before we start down
the room when we're making those decisions.
Right. And have we talked to our who before we go down that path? Have we talked to the customer before we just make decisions, or are we making decisions in a vacuum? So again, I think the open and general session really hit on that, involving the community, involving your whoever that may be, in your decision-making process. We've got to start putting the customer at the center, and the customer changes for every single thing you're doing. It could be a volunteer group. It could be the community, right? It could be any cross-section. But putting the customer at the center and kind of stopping before we do stuff and say, okay, why are we doing this? Who are we doing it for? And have we even talked to them about it? And then pause if you say yes and be like, no, have we really talked to them about it? Just because you held a public meeting does not mean you've involved the community in your decision-making process. So again, putting the customer at the center of everything we do, be it, where are we going to hold a conference? Where do people want us to hold a conference? Just asking some of those questions as opposed to just saying, let's have it here. This is what's best for us. So again, putting the customer at the center of everything we do, just has such far-reaching impacts. And WEF is 95 years old this year, right? So we're getting up there in age, and these values embody what we need to do to continue as an organization. Again, there are so many ways for people to connect and get involved to see that they're making a change. And if we don't change the way we do things to evolve with the world today, then we may not be here in a few years. So we have to change.
We talked about that if we want to remain relevant, we've got to evolve.
Right.
And how's the best way to do that? And starting with the why and putting the customer at the center, those are fabulous places to start.
Yes, we have to start with why.
We're both Simon Sinek fans, so yes, we really like to start with why. Well, Aimeé, anything else you want to tell us about what's upcoming this year, or maybe what you'd like to see as you're looking back on your year as president a year from now?
Yeah, and the reason I think the start with why and the customer at the center is a focus for me is because that one I feel like, I'm not going to say it's easy to change, but it's something we can do. Being bold, if you're not bold and heuristic, or, that's a little harder, right? That's more of a personality trait. We've been doing a lot of DE&I work and doing partnering work, and I feel like those are things we can learn. Customer at the center, I would like to come back here in a year from now and be like, hey, we've changed these things because our consumer, our customer, our member, our community told us and asked, and we did it. So, I feel like that's something that's very accomplishable in the next year, and hopefully everybody will share their stories with all of us about, seeing WEF and our member associations and our utilities involving the customer in everything we do so that we can, continue to exist as an organization.
I love that, and that gives ideas for the OGS next year. So, Aimeé, thank you. I really do appreciate you taking the time and being flexible. Please join us later for more episodes of WEFTEC Live, and we hope to see you back in the studio too.